Okay, guys. Today I have a discussion about something that I think, from first of all, I've been thinking about doing it. Right now it's like 1:40 at night. I'm gonna wake up at 8 o'clock, but this today discussion is about something very important. Today, like the title says, why not getting married in 21st century? Okay. So first of all, this content is dedicated for the English speakers and people understand English. So, as a resident of the state of Israel, I'm deciding not to create it in the Hebrew language. So, we try to do the best of it. I'm not born, raised in the English language, but I will try. My mom was an English teacher, so I'm gonna do my best. This is the first time I'm doing something of this gratitude, like they say in the movies, and I wanted to do it and to explain why I think, and sorry for the directness, this direct content that I'm doing, but I think that to marry in the 21st century, I think you should be a fool. You should be a disgrace for yourself. I know the covenant of the holiness of the marriage is something sacred, and I do support it in a biblical way. 100% I support it, but the covenant doesn't work in the courts of the 21st century. So, from a perspective of the law, this deal is a bad deal. And the only reason it's a bad deal because the man loses all their rights. Suddenly, once you get married, you can see that all the police and the government suddenly living in your home, in your houses. And I think a lot of men, there's the blue pill man, the red pill man, MGTOWs, all those. And there's a lot of content out there that you can investigate. But the main issue that I'm going to talk about specifically in English, it's about why it is so dangerous to marry in 21st century. I do think that there's a lot of indoctrination, and many people are being marketed this avatar of imaginations in relation to becoming a husband. I've been thinking seriously about making this, and I decided to do it. So let's jump in. Getting married in 21st century, I think you should be a complete fool, because what kind of person will be drawn to a deal that he knows that more than 50% is going to lose the deal? So I know that there's a lot of people that, many of the men themselves, they feel that their manhood, their strength, their honor, and etc. They feel that when they're gonna get married, some sort of a glorification, some sort of this amazing emotions that they feel that they are drawn inside a marriage, because they feel obligated. And the men themselves striving, moving forward, building, creating, leading. So that's why it is embedded in their self conscience that they want to get married. But I think that the danger rises at the moment that the person understands that he has no power over his control. And I will explain to you. The minute a man in the 21st century getting married in Western civilizations, under the mandate of the English courts or American constitutions, the law there, the minute he signs the marriage, and you can check it out, all those agreements before agreements, getting married is nonsense. I call it shenanigans, mumble jumble, because once he gets married, he loses his power. And what kind of person get inside a marriage and he knows 100%, and he knows that if he brings a child to this world, his wife suddenly can say, I don't want this relationship anymore. And then she can go to the police, go to the court. do some sort of actions, legal action, or just make a complaint that he did this and this and this, etc. And he loses everything. He can lose his own business, his financial stability. His kids have been taken away from him. So, what kind of normal person would get married if he knows that the danger is such a danger? So, think about it. Think about it. If he has this danger, and if he knew this danger, so what? He's going to be castrated because he knows it, so he will continue to be in it? No, he won't go inside the structure of the marriage deal itself. I've been thinking a lot of times about, as a straight single with no kids, you're postponing the inevitable. But the more knowledge we get on the road of our lives, the more we are building institutions inside our minds that will make ourselves feel more equipped to deal with those emotions. So definitely to have a child is something that I want. A lot of people, they want it, but the danger arises that after you sign the contract and you get married, you lose all the leverage. So before that, there was a leverage. Okay, so and this leverage was working. Today's the cancellations of marriage are more than 50% in the States. So, and even in Israel, it's getting close to 50%. So, what does it mean? It means that the human relations of people suck. They do not understand that there's a in-depth correlation with their own actions, with the reality itself combined together with the laws. And by knowing the power of the female itself by a structural law foundation, then if she knows that, and by the way, even if she doesn't know that, she gets divorced, the lawyer will explain how we can totally destroy a husband while they're getting divorced. So why a person should get married? Why? Just think about it. Why? He can make a child, he can create a child, he can make a contract that if they don't want to live together, they can do it. But even if you put your mind to it and you think about it, what kind of normal human being will marry a woman by knowing that there's more than 50% chance that this marriage structure will be destroyed and he can lose his house, lose his kids, lose everything, and all his power is lost the minute he signs the contract? The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm seeing that those laws was created intentionally to destroy the nuclear family. So by understanding that if they're striving to destroy the nuclear family, then I can understand by viewing this thing that there is intentional behavior. It is not a suspicious thinking. No, it's intentional. And like as we know, there's no equilibrium in modern century in any way in the relation of the female and the male. And in Sweden, they tried all those things. And by the way, Jordan Peterson, this amazing genius scholar, intellectual, he already discussed those things about they try all the systems of cognitive behavior and things like that in Sweden, and they lost. Okay, so I think you should be absolutely crazy to get married in 21st century, because if you know that you can lose everything, so why do it? But I'll tell you why people continue to do it. Because they were brainwashed from the childhood. They were brainwashed to do that because they've been watching too many stupid Hollywood movies. And this knight that comes with a shining armor and saves the girls, Romeo and Julia crap and things like that. But this is all fantasy mumble jumble. The truth is very simple. Once you get married, you have no power and control about anything. It's a lookalike. Because if you get married after 1 year, she wants to leave you, you can lose everything. Even if you have a lot of money, still, of course, I call it the feminization, the feminist interactions with the laws themselves, that they were striving for this equality nonsense. They destroyed a lot of things. And by the way, this information is intended specifically to men. It is not intended for the female. Not that I have a problem with the female, I love female. They are great. Women are great. But this is the intention is to allow you, men out there, to think very carefully about this magnificent things that it arises in your mind, that you think that if you're going to get married, you will fulfill something in yourself. Like I've been saying always in Israel, because in English it sounds different, much more harsh in Hebrew. Hebrew, I always said, it's a very decisive language, directly. So don't get married. Don't do that. You want to have a baby, just make the baby, make a contract specifically. Find a person that you can live with them, that he will not fuck up your life. And think very carefully that you will never go to a deal as if you are not a gambler, if you know that more than 50% you're going to lose. So my message today is very simple. Don't get married in 21st century. I think you are absolutely fool if you do that. And modern females, they are not acting as the traditional way that they're striving that we're gonna accept them in this behavior. So that's why the female themselves, from my perspective, they lost the leverage. And by losing the leverage, it means that they took the power that was intentionally well organized power. Well organized power, it's a good name for an album. I'm gonna write it down even. Well organized power. I'm gonna write it down. Sometimes ADHD a little bit helps me. A lot of brainstorming. Organized power. Underline. Yes, I won't forget it. So the structure itself, the covenant of the 21st century marriage, it's a fake. It's a lie. And guys, if you want to marry, do it in a holy way. Do it outside the courts. Do it outside every office of the government. Just do it as a holiness. Go to your church. Go to your synagogue. Take the priest or the rabbi. Just tell him, take a paper, sign it, and make the covenant. Don't sign yourself for the courts. Don't give your authority to those mega conglomerated government corporation, and they will take all your rights, and the men themselves, they will suffer. They will suffer severely. I had a friend that died. He took his life. He had a girlfriend for 12 years. Rest in peace. Was such a great person, such an honest person, good-hearted person. I met him when I was studying a couple of years in yeshiva myself, Central Tel Aviv. This guy had a woman, and by the way, this example just to illustrate something. This guy used to walk inside yeshiva and used to tell me each time when he met me in Hebrew, guy, when are you going to get a child? Not married, but a child. I remember that. This guy took his life. He had a girlfriend for 12 years. The second the child was born, she flipped on him and used the power of the Israel courts and government himself and the laws, social laws, to make this father of the child that he will not see his child. And he got crazy slowly, and he killed himself. Okay, so think about it. What kind of mother separates the kids from the father? Think what kind of female behavior creates a situation that the man does not see the child, even if he doesn't pay alimony Think about it. What kind of a structured society, from a psychology and sociology point of view, what kind of society agreeing with that? I think it's a blasphemy. I think it's a disgrace, and it should be abolished. But the men are cowards, and the female they think they have power, and the power that they got because they were those losers, the politicians themselves, they helped to create a situation because it's suitable for them. So for each man out there, if you want to marry, just stop and think about it. Why should you get married with any female at all if you know that the contract that you're doing, the marriage himself, you are abolishing your power totally, and you can lose your family, you can lose your kids, you can lose your respect, you can lose your job, you can be in prison, your finances, the house that you own, you can lose everything. Why? Think about it. It is only because 9 months that the female carries the baby, so that's it. This is what creates it. No. By the way, for many academic research, they already understand and they are knowing that the education of the child, the behavior of the child, if he stays with the father, if they are single parent, the kids grow up to be much better than if the kids are growing in the female house. And by the way, this is not me saying, you can go out there and check the information. The information is out there. And this is something interesting. While they're sitting people in this crap Facebook and all this nonsense, they are dying slowly. And the way they are dying, it's not physically, but it's like the dying, people are dying from their absorption of information that they are foolish information, stupidity in information. You know, sometimes I'm telling myself, I wish I can have the English understanding of the way you speak English to become 10 times better. Because in Hebrew, I'm a master in rhetorical talking. I can explain this thing in depth. You could be shocked. We're in a very high league of spokesmanship in Hebrew. But it's hard in English, so I'm just trying it. But it bothers me. And I see a lot of men suffering. Right now, I have a friend. This friend doesn't see his kid for 3 months because his girlfriend, that they had a child with no agreement, no marriage agreement, suddenly she got crazy. And I know the guy. The guy is a good man. He's a good, honest man, a very honest man, a good working on, a creative person, lovable person. And this guy is almost, I saw him in the street 2 days ago and he was crushed. He didn't answer my phones for a couple of days. I was getting worried. I told him, listen, I'm going to go directly. I was very close to your home, knocking on your goddamn door. But then I decided that you were grown up. If you want to have a talk, have a talk. So, like God works his mysterious ways, in his own beautiful, mysterious ways. Then he revealed his veil, and once he revealed his veil, I walking in the street, I'm looking at this person, and I'm seeing him. We talked for a couple of minutes. And I was shocked. I was shocked that he was telling me that he thought about taking his life in the hardest situation in these 3 months. And I was shocked because it made my heart burn. So I told him, listen, every day if you want to come to my house, sit here on the couch, listen to music. Every day you can come. He lives a couple of minutes walk from my home. But he's a close person. We know each other for many, many years. So I told him, every day if you want to come to my house, sit down, even to save your soul, just to be here, no problem. Because I felt empathy, deep empathy about it. I can empathize, even that I don't have a child. So let's wrap it. Let's wrap the information on and let's close it. It's kind of late and tired. So don't get married. Screw what other people think. Don't give a shit what people other think. Don't give a rat's ass about knowing what they think about your life, because your life should be saved, and because you are looking for emotions to feel. I just want to feel. Fuck it. Listen to me very careful. For those half an hour emotion that you're sleeping with your woman and you enjoying it like you're feeling at the top of your life, It is nonsense. You will control your emotions, you control your body, you can control everything because you are a king. And remember that. A true man controls his emotions. Remember that. And this is the truth. Okay? From a biblical point of view, from the Torah of the Jewish people. If you control your emotions, you control your desires. If you control your desire, you can all this lustfulness, all these things you can control it. If you control it, you become to be a man. Remember, not a human. Human, all of us are humans. Becoming a man is when you control those instincts. And this is the separates us from the animals. And always remember that. So that's why. Don't get married. You can make a child, make a contract, and take care of yourself. And be alarmed that those emotions, they come and go. But your action stays for eternity. And remember that. Good night.